With the solar eclipse of 2017 just weeks away, I was invited out by David Moore, owner of Big Carp Tackle, to fly to Oklahoma and fish during this very rare moment. We traveled 5 hours to Brown State Lake in northeast Kansas to ensure that we would be in the eclipse's path of totality. Joining us were Zach Testa and Jake Downing. The goal? To capture carp while the moon was in front of the sun. This is carp culture. As we arrived at the 62-acre lake just outside of Hiawatha, Kansas, the night quickly followed. As the sun lowered itself behind the trees, we had just enough time to flick the rods out and unwind after a long day of travel. But it wasn't until the following morning that the action really began to pick up. It's a carp! Yes! We arrived in Kansas last night, had a few catfish, ended up pulling the rods. We have a few storms rolling through this afternoon, so we just got the rods out just to get a quick bite. And we're off the mark, the 22-pound character of a common.
There we have it, second fish of the session. Fighting pretty hard for these fish. I decided to fish a little bit where out at range and filled it in yesterday. Hopefully we get some bigger ones than that. Definitely a mint fish.
Here's the rig I caught that first carp on. It's becoming my go-to no matter where I fish. Just a simple blowback rig, a sinking dumbbell, and a pink topper. Jake picked this one up for me. Nice pale, low double common. Due to low water visibility and a massive algae bloom that covered the surface, the carp in this lake did not regularly receive sunlight. As a result, some of the carp were extremely light in color and had a metallic fleck like the trait of a Jinrin koi.
Got him. Just put a few spalms out, kicked them on in the feed, nailed them right on the top of the lip. Need to hurry up and get that rod back out there. Second cast, second fish, finally on the spot. Day of baiting paid off. Hopefully it gets better from here.
The following morning, I took a walk along the margins of a shallow bay to find small groups of common and grass carp feeding on naturals with their backs out of the water. I began to trickle in small handfuls of sweet feed and boilies every couple of hours to see if they would return. Sure enough, they did. I continued to very quietly watch their feeding patterns and noted which hours of the day they would make their patrol through. As I continued fishing, I started developing a plan on how I could hopefully pull one out. I moved into this bay yesterday evening. I've just seen so much activity, huge boils, and it definitely paid off. My first grass carp.
the morning of day 3. Me and Edwin doubled up, so these fish are still here, we're still catching. And my first fish, other than a few small catfish, but it's off to a start and continuing on for everybody else.
With Zach's arrival and our constant trouble dealing with snags, it was time to launch the boat into the water and use sonar to map the lake and figure out exactly what we were fishing over.
So we're getting the battery for the fish finder because somebody forgot it. I won't say who. There it goes. Should be good.
How close can we get to that feeder? Because I know Dave said he wanted to check out around that. That's where I broke off several times, twice with a fish yesterday afternoon.
With my right hand rod, I put it not far off that feeder and it broke up.
Dave's had some problems too on the right side of the feeder.
Like brush and trees. Don't cast to the right of that feeder. The whole screen's a snag. Yeah, I didn't see anything on yours. That's a tree. So this up in here is a tree. All of the black is the shadow where the radar sonar can't get past.
Is that a fish? Right here?
Yeah, those look depths.
Yeah.
You can actually overlay the depths, the bottom hardness. You can do vegetation. You can go 3D with it. You can actually, like you're walking along the bottom of the lake.
As the setting sun painted the sky hues of majestic gold and orange, all seemed to be peaceful on the lake, where the water's glass-like surface showed promise for an eventful night. What happened next was not the event we were hoping for. We were soon deceived as heavy winds and a violent storm blew in from the northwest and had us scattering for shelter. The storm couldn't break our spirits, and despite the chaotic and restless night, we continued to fish effectively the following morning.
Jake and I just had a brace with the first mirror of the session and my PB grass carp.
This mirror went, what was it, 18, 19, a little water in the sling, but always pleased with a mirror where they're pretty rare. Definitely a looker with that awkward linear look. We actually, thank God we caught him. He had a treble hook in his gill. So we managed to remove that, do a little surgery. We'll get him back, one less hook in his mouth.
All right, awesome.
All right, so here in the States, we have lots of different kinds of fishermen, as I'm sure you do across the pond. Some understand how to have fish safety a little bit more than others. Thankfully, we were able to remove this treble hook from one of the fish caught during this trip. It was just stuck completely in his gill plate. Who knows how long it's been there for. Now he's free and can eat well.
With the eclipse quickly approaching, it was time to revisit the margin along the bay that I've been periodically baiting by hand, and finally get a rig in place and hope to trick one of the larger specimens I've seen patrolling by. After dropping in a solid PVA bag, I was soon rewarded with a 43-pound, 8-ounce grass carp. Victory was mine.
What has happened? What are we fighting for? Now we can't go back and we can't move on. No point to pretend anymore. Setting that judge, I'm not keeping score. All I did was wait for the shit to make. I never meant to start a war. It was only a matter of timing. I never needed you around in, but we keep running round and round. I've been down there looking for the silver lining, but no matter what we always find it. So maybe you should just get lost.
The solar eclipse of 2017 was just moments away, and we were joined by over 600 people who gathered around the lake to witness this rare and absolutely incredible moment. Jake Downing managed to capture not one, but 3 carp during the strange darkness as the moon covered the sun. This mission was a success.